Hello ladies and gentlemen, Gene here with G Squared Tactical. Got something very special to me anyway on the channel today, and what we are looking at is the IWI Jericho 941, and this is the 9F. Has a 4.4 inch barrel, overall length is 8.2 inches, weighing out in at a very hefty 2.3 pounds. Does have a stainless steel barrel with a 1 in 10 rifling, and it does have a plastic guide rod here, which, you know, a lot of times I'm not a huge fan of. I prefer an all metal guide rod, but whatever. Let's get into talking about this thing a little bit, kind of give you a little bit of a backstory. We did do a review on the enhanced model of this, the IWI Jericho 941 Enhanced, which was a polymer frame version of this. And as much as I wanted to like that gun, as much as I like the IWI brand, I just couldn't, for whatever reason, perform well with the gun. I attributed it initially to the 25mm sights that was up there, and we were always shooting at 7 to 10 yards. But we had this thing out at the range, and I took it out there more or less because I bought the gun on consignment for about $400, and I wasn't sure. I just wanted to make sure it would function. You know, she said it was a police trade-in. I don't know if that means he carried it or he just happened to be a police officer and traded it in. I don't really know, because it doesn't look like it's ever been holstered, and it is in absolute mint condition. And an MSRP of around $700 on these babies, I picked this up for about $400 out the door. I felt very, very privileged to have done so. So I just wanted to have it at the range just to see if it would perform, and man, did it ever perform. We had $2,500 guns out at the range that day with optics on it, and still did not shoot as accurately, for me anyway, as I did with this. For me, this gun stole the show that day. And I think some of that for me is probably because it is based off of the CZ75 platform. Very, very narrow slide here, low bore axis. Also takes the CZ Shadow SP01 magazines. This is a 20 round magazine that came out of the CZ Shadow 2 optic ready. So that's good for me because I have quite a few of these CZ Shadow magazines, so more fun at the range. It came with two 16 rounders, all metal here, metal base plate, IWI branded on the magazine. I don't know if Metcar or someone makes these magazines. I'm not really sure. I just know that it is branded with the IWI logo on the 16 round magazine that came with it. It does not have adjustable sights. Sure, it could be pushed for windage on the front or back, but it cannot be changed for elevation. They are steel sights, and they are 3 white dot ribbed across the top here, I'm sure, to cut down on any kind of glare or anything. Again, very much CZ75-ish. You know, I can manipulate the mag button here, the mag release. I can manipulate it without adjusting my grip. You know that I am a little bit of a snob about that. There's nothing on this particular model that is ambi, and you do have those big gawky takedown and safety levers here, just like you see on the P01, the P07, P09. So again, very CZ75-ish. Does have a 2-slot pick rail, or maybe a 1913 rail, either way, to put your light and your lasers up here should you choose to do that. Nice squared off trigger guard, again very CZ75-ish. It is serrated on the front of the trigger guard. I really, really love how close that trigger, I mean, that trigger runs so close to the bottom of that guard, you almost think it's going to hit it. And I really like that, especially with it being curved as it is, because I tend to get a lot of trigger bite where my finger would get caught, or at the very least the recoil would just pinch and put a blood blister on the bottom of my finger. And so for me, it makes it very, very enjoyable to shoot. I'm against the trend these days. I like the rounded trigger. Again, it just feels more natural to me than the flat trigger. And what I have found on a lot of flat triggers is that I do get that trigger bite, and it's not a fun thing. It doesn't make it very fun to shoot. Again, this thing stole the show out at the range. Crazy accurate for me when I was shooting it. Again, this is unlike the enhanced. This does have a all metal frame, so it's an all metal gun. If I had a con about it, it would be the plastic grips with the flathead screws in here. You know I don't like that. The plastic grips I can kind of get over. I don't know why they don't put some torque screws in there. I know that they changed the barrel, changed a little bit about the internals on this gun in 2020. I'm sure, I don't know what year this one is, but I'm sure that it is definitely a little bit. It was released in 1990, so I would say it's probably in the 90s somewhere is how old this particular gun is, but certainly not later than 2020, when they did do a few changes to it. No serrations on the front makes it nearly, if not impossible, to manipulate from the front unless you want to slip off and cut your fingers on these sights. It does have rear serrations, but again, it is a very thin slide, just like you see on the CZ75 or most any CZ model. So this thing can be carried cocked and locked, hammer fully back, safety up, one in the pipe. I don't like carrying these types of guns this way. Sure, I'll carry a 1911 like that because the safety is more positive to me on a 1911. It locks in more securely. This thing easily pops off. You know, it's not as easy to push up, but it easily pops off, and that just scares me. Carrying, call me what you want to call me, that's fine, I'm ready for it. It just scares me being able to knock it off that easily, being that I carry outside the waist, or even if I carry it inside the waist, on fat belly or something, accidentally knocking it off, and then you have a very light trigger on that single action. So, but if you're okay with that, if you're comfortable with that, you can carry it cocked and locked. For me, the way that I'm going to carry it, well, I'll tell you another way that you can carry it. You can carry it dropping the hammer in a safe direction on the live round, essentially decocking it yourself. You can carry it half cocked with the safety off. I wouldn't have a problem carrying it that way, as now you have a lot heavier trigger. So basically the trigger becomes your safety at that point. So I'd be fine with that. The way I would carry this gun, if I did carry it, would be with the half cock, dropping the hammer on a live round in a safe direction, half cocking the hammer here so that it's not laying right up against the firing pin if you were to drop it and it hit that hammer with enough force to send that round down range, or, well, unfortunately down wherever the heck you're carrying it at. Don't want to do that. So I would probably carry it half cocked with the safety on, because the safety is so easy to manipulate. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I did not, again, expect to carry this. It was a nostalgic kind of purchase for me, but as well as it performed out the range, as soon as I got home, I cleaned this bad boy up, slapped my Surefire up here, and I actually carried this around for about 4 or 5 weeks with me everywhere I went in the truck and so forth. Even had it on my nightstand for a short little stint because of just how accurate and smooth. This slide is like butter. It's just smooth as butter. Now again, I don't know how much this thing was shot. It doesn't look like it was shot much at all. Very nice polished feed ramp on here. It doesn't look like any of the feed ramp is down in the frame. It's all on the barrel itself. Very nice polished feed ramp. This thing performed flawlessly at the range. Just smooth as silk. That single action trigger, as mentioned before, it does have some take up. Absolutely zero grit. Kind of rolls through after it hits the wall. Breaks predictably when you would think that it should. On the double action here, again, about the same amount of take up. Hits that wall a little harder, of course, to pull through that wall, but again, it doesn't have these where it feels like it's going to break, but it doesn't. It stiffens up again. It's very consistent and a very nice trigger pull, and on the double action, making it very fun to shoot and predictable. Again, you don't have these negligent discharges downrange. Very good trigger for a double action trigger, and I had no complaints with that. Again, we shot lights out with this thing at the range, and I don't know how many rounds this thing has had through it, but it shot fine for us. It's very possible this thing's had 10,000 rounds through it. I don't know. Does have the nice little bump here at the bottom. There's no interchangeable back straps or anything like that, but it does have this nice little bump with the serrations on the rear and a nice deep beaver tail cut here, which really gets your hand up high and tight, and very, very sure grip on this gun. Feels very nice in the hand, and it does not feel unloaded anyway like it weighs 2.3 pounds, but I haven't put it on the scale, but it says it weighs 3.2 pounds. So I'm sorry, 2.3 pounds. But you get a very nice grip on it. It does have some serrations here on the front. The mag well is not necessarily flared. It's extended out in the front here a little bit. But other than that, on the sides and rears, it's tight, but we had no problems with reloads out at the range. Very easy to reload this, reload the magazine in this weapon, but again, we don't have any type of flaring really in the mag well except for here on the front. There's no lanyard loop or anything like that on the bottom. And I think I covered most of what I want to cover on this gun. Again, sure, we left some stuff out. There's some stuff that we could have talked about that we didn't. If you want us to, maybe if enough people ask questions, we could do a follow-up. But use the comment section so we can keep the videos as short as possible. Ask any questions. We do know the answer. If we don't, we'll find out, and we'll let you know. We get back with everyone in the comment section, good, bad, or indifferent. We respond to everyone. So if you have any questions about the gun, this one in particular, hit us up. We'll always answer your question. We don't try to just brush you off and give you the easiest answer possible. We actually do our research and try to find out for you. So hit us up. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if you have it, what you think about it, what your thoughts are. Again, IWI Jericho 941. This is the F9. I think that's right. Let's see. The F9. Yes, it come in a nice little molded carrying case here. And 2 magazines in the gun. That's what I got. And I got a lock. Could have come with some other things, but I don't think, maybe if it did, they weren't in the box when I bought the gun. So it is what it is. Absolutely love the gun. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. Check us out on Rumble. Make sure you tell all your friends, your family, where they can find the best, most down-to-earth, blue-collar gun reviews on YouTube. Be blessed and have a great day.